Can we fight our true nature? Become something we are not? Can we use our light to conceal our darkness? To bury the demon below?
Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Martinez, and welcome back to Pop D&D, the show where we take your favorite pop culture characters and turn them into Dungeons & Dragons adventurers. On this final episode of our Monster Edition, we're taking the greatest monster of all time, man. And we're going to make that into a new sort of character that I definitely wanted to do for a while now. I was considering doing it for a hero, but it definitely fits with a villain scenario. We are taking Finn Balor of the WWE and turning him into our final villain this October. Hailing from Ireland and having wrestled the world over, Finn Balor made the biggest name for himself through New Japan Pro Wrestling as Prince Devitt. He was also a founding member of the Bullet Club before being signed to the WWE's developmental NXT roster and eventually being called up to their main roster. His in-ring persona of the Balor King is derived from ancient Gaelic mythology and is the perfect inspiration for any Dungeons & Dragons adventure. So the best part about building this character is we're not going to need a lot of character sheets. In fact, everything about this is going to be in the monster manual to begin with. So as long as you have this and a rudimentary understanding of Dungeons & Dragons, you're going to be in a great spot. So while the monster manual is filled with great inspiration and classic monsters for Dungeons & Dragons, it has in the back a series of non-player characters that you can use for other encounters, engagement, or in this case, inspiration as well. We're going to go ahead and take 3 of them for this scenario because we're going to build an encounter from the outright. We're going to take 3 of those non-player characters from the back of this to begin with because we're going to create a whole scenario that leads to your final battle with Balor. So the scenario that we're presenting you has a lot of inspiration from the Keep on the Shadowfell from Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition, as well as many other scenarios of deception and secrecy. In fact, your heroes are being tasked with finding a secret cult. What they don't know is that the noble who sent them out is in fact that lead cultist. So for Finn Balor, your cult leader, to begin with, we're going to go ahead and use the stat block for the Archmage. This is going to give us a strength of 10 and a dexterity of 14. This makes sense for Finn because we see he's a much more agile wrestler than he is a strength-based wrestler. But here's what we're going to do for this. Because we're going to build everything off of a human, we're going to give a +2 to his attributes across the board. With those +2s across the board, this is going to make this an extremely difficult character because your strongest attribute now is actually going to be intelligence at a whopping 22. Now the Archmage challenge rating starts at a 12, which is roughly what we had for the Predator. Because there's going to be a lot of other non-player characters for the heroes to fight, we're going to break this down, reduce it to around about an 8. And we're going to do that by removing a lot of the spells that the Archmage has built up. Now for the rest of the Balor Club, let's go ahead and turn the page and we'll see that we have the Cultists and the Cult Fanatics. The Cult Fanatics are each going to have about a challenge rating of 2, and those we're going to use for our other 4 key members. So you want 4 Cult Fanatics and maybe a handful of Cultists. These can be easily picked off throughout the battle. You never know what's going to happen with them. They're usually a bunch of jobbers anyway. Now, if you really want things to go berserk, you can of course have all of the Cult Fanatics go at once along with your Archmage for Finn to make this even more difficult. But if you want to tell a strong story, space it out. Have 2 of the Cult Fanatics go up against the heroes at once. Maybe span it out, have another one appear later, and then the final 4th one later. This will all lead up to your great final battle with Finn Balor. So with everything leading up to the battle against Finn Balor as an Archmage, you're going to, of course, eventually wear him down. We hope. If and when Finn Balor is reduced to 0 hit points, he completes his pact with the demon. Now, if you know your Dungeons & Dragons demonology, you know exactly what we've been building up to. As Finn Balor dies, the demon that he's sworn his cult's allegiance to takes over, unleashing a Balor. It's the battle you've really been waiting for. This is your WrestleMania moment. This is where you're going to make your spotlight scene on the grandest stage of them all. So as the Balor finally emerges, the player characters are immediately going to have to watch out. The Balor's size is huge, which means it's going to take up 9 spaces on your board. Push back any player characters that were originally adjacent to Finn, but keep them close because this is their penalty for starting that close. any creature that begins its turn within 5 feet of the Balor is going to take 3d6 fire damage. Additionally, any flammable objects immediately go up in fire. Now, should your characters defeat the Balor, it's going to explode in a fiery demise. This is very similar to the way that we had our Predator monster die in our last episode. When it dies, your players are going to have to make a DC 20 dexterity save or take 70 fire damage from the explosion. Just as before with the fiery aura, the explosion is going to destroy any flammable objects within a 30-foot radius. So there you have it. Everything you need is right there in the monster manual. Go ahead, create your storyline, get your characters going, gather your party together, and have some fun with this adventure. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Pop D&D. Once again, my name is Daniel Martinez, and if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you back next year for new heroes in an all-new season of Pop D&D. Let me know in the comments below who you would want to see created on a future episode, and I can't wait to see you guys back in January. So take your monsters, get out there, and until next time, too sweet.